Welcome to Story Series of Avaya and Anaya, Guardians of the Night. Episode 10, The Wind Who Forgot to Blow. Hey there, little dreamers. Are you all tucked in with your blankie and your favorite stuffed friend? Because tonight, we're going on a very breezy, not breezy, adventure. Something strange has happened. The wind has stopped. Yes, stopped. No whooshing, no fluttering, not even a puff. And guess who's on the case? That's right, your favorite bedtime heroes, Avaya and Anaya, Guardians of the Night. Let's begin. The night the wind disappeared. One quiet evening, Avaya sat by the window in her pajama shorts, blowing into a paper pinwheel. She blew and blew, but the pinwheel didn't spin. Huh? She said, puffing her cheeks. Did it break? Her big sister, Anaya, looked up from her sketchbook. Maybe there's no wind outside, she said. No wind? But wind is always there, Avaya said, walking over to the window. She opened it wide. The curtain stayed still. The tree branches didn't wave. And the wind chime by the porch? Totally silent. That's so weird, Anaya whispered. Even Butterball, the sleepy puppy, sat up and sniffed the air. Then he sneezed. Achoo! But even his sneeze didn't stir the curtains. Just then, ting, ting! Their special guardian tokens lit up on the nightstand. A soft voice filled the room. Guardians, Avaya and Anaya, we need you. Captain Orion, Avaya whispered. Something's wrong with the world, he said in a calm voice. The wind has stopped. Completely. Anaya and Avaya looked at each other. This was serious. Time to gear up, Anaya said. They grabbed their guardian capes, slid on their fluffy slippers, and touched their glowing tokens. Suddenly, a shimmer spiral of stars appeared beside their bed. A magical staircase made of light twisted up into the sky. The long climb to the Cloud Kingdom. Whoa, Avaya said, looking up at the glittery staircase. How many steps do you think it is? Probably 1,000,000, Anaya laughed. Step by step, they climbed higher and higher, past the rooftop, past the tallest trees, even above the clouds. Soon they reached the gate of a beautiful place in the sky, the Cloud Kingdom. Normally, the kingdom floated gently like a feather. Its cloud-sized castles puffed and bobbed like marshmallows. Breezes whooshed and whirled through cotton candy courtyards. But tonight, everything was still. Too still. Creepy, whispered Avaya. Even the clouds aren't bouncing. They stepped inside the kingdom and saw little fairy sitting sadly on the benches. One held a tiny flag that drooped like a cooked noodle. A sleepy squirrel wearing wind goggles blinked at them. You're the guardians, right? The squirrel said with a yawn. Yep, said Avaya, and we're here to fix the wind. Good luck, the squirrel said, rubbing his eyes. The wind spirit is in a very grumpy mood. He pointed to the tallest tower in the sky. That's where he is. But he's not blowing anything right now, not even his nose. Anaya and Avaya shared a look. They had a feeling this mission would be trickier than usual. The wind spirit's big pout. The wind tower was all tall and twisty, with stairs that curved along soft cloud walls. The girls reached the top and stepped inside. The wind chamber sparkled with swirling feathers, floating ribbons, and silver leaves frozen in midair. And sitting right in the middle, on a big swirly throne, was the wind spirit. He had a long, cloudy beard and hair that flowed like a breeze. But tonight he looked pouty, his cheeks puffed over like a balloon, and his arms crossed tight. Hi there, Avaya waved. We're here. We hear you're on a break. I'm not on a break, the wind spirit huffed. I'm on strike. A strike? Anaya blinked. I've blown every breeze for thousands of years. I flap the flags. I spin the pinwheels. I cool sweaty birds. And does anyone say thank you? No, he grumbled. Avaya tilted her head. I say thank you to ice cream. The spirit cracked a tiny smile, but quickly went back to pouting. Well, we want to help, Anaya said kindly. Is there anything we can do? The wind spirit sniffled. Only if you can prove that the world needs me and loves me. Just then, a puffball cloud with tiny legs floated in. It had glasses, a scroll, and a tiny bow tie. And Flopperton, it squealed. Official Cloud Council assistant. He unrolled the scroll dramatically. To prove the world loves the wind, you must complete 3 challenges. Make something fly without wind, glide without wings, and fix upside-down weather. Upside down what now? Avaya whispered. Anaya stood tall. We accept your challenges. Excellent, Flufferton said, and clapped. 3 golden feathers floated from the ceiling. The first challenge begins now, he said. Good luck. And that, little dreamers, was just the beginning. What will the girls do when the wind refuses to blow? Can they pass the windy test? Will Avaya accidentally use glitter glue again? Because the breeze may be gone, but the adventure is just getting started. The Flying Pancake Plan. Avaya and Anaya stood in front of a tall cloud wall, where a giant banner read, Challenge 1. Make something fly without wind. Well, that's impossible, Avaya said. You need wind to fly stuff. Flufferton, the cloud assistant, floated in, holding a clipboard. Not impossible, he squeaked. Just creatively impossible. The girls thought hard. We could throw something really hard, Avaya suggested, picking up a feather and launching it. It floated straight onto the ground like a sleepy potato chip. That didn't work, Anaya said, giggling. Avaya suddenly perked up. Wait, how about a balloon power? Back in a corner of the wind tower, they found an old wind testing room with weird gadgets and tubes. Avaya grabbed a big stretchy balloon and started blowing it up. Puff! 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 Whoa, Anaya laughed. Your face is turning purple. Avaya tied the balloon, aimed it at the feather, and let it go. The balloon flew across the room. Splat! Knocking over a pile of fluffy cloud pillows. But more importantly, the feather flew. Yes, it worked, Avaya cheered. Flufferton made a note on his clipboard. Creative, chaotic, check mark. Challenge 1 passed, he announced. Suddenly, one of the 3 golden feathers they received glowed bright and floated up into the air. 1 down, Anaya said, high-fiving her sister. 2 to go. The Flying Blanket Ride. Challenge 2 was written in sparkly letters on a puffy white cloud sign. Glide without wings. The girls looked at each other. Well, we don't have wings, so I guess we already win? Avaya said hopefully. Nope, Flufferton squeaked, floating down with a scroll. You must glide across the wobbly, windless gap without falling. He pointed to a huge space between 2 floating cloud towers. No bridges, no wing, just air. Avaya peeked over the edge and gulped. That's a long way down. We've done harder, Anaya reminded her. Remember the marshmallow volcano in episode 3? Oh yeah, Avaya grinned. Okay, let's get gliding. They looked around the Cloud Kingdom's supply nook. There were sparkly towels, pillowcases, and something called a hover blanket that looked suspiciously like a picnic rug with buttons. Anaya pointed. That's our ride. They climbed onto the hover blanket, which immediately wobbled like jelly. Okay, don't bounce, Anaya warned. Just hold on." She pressed the glowing green button that said Glide Mode. The blanket made a cheerful ding and slowly floated forward, very slowly, like a snail riding a turtle. "Whee!" Avaya whispered. The blanket started to tilt, one side dipping lower. "Lean right," Anaya shouted. They shifted their weight. The blanket wobbled again, then steadied. Halfway across, Butterball, who had stowed away in Anaya's pajama hood, suddenly sneezed. "Achoo!" The sneeze sent the blanket spinning in circles like a pizza in the sky. "Stop spinning! Stop spinning!" Anaya laughed. Just as they reached the other side, the blanket made a big loop-de-loop and dropped them safely on a puffy landing cloud. Boing! They landed in a giggling heap, Butterball licking everyone's noses. Cloverton zipped in, writing furiously. "Unsuspected technique. Maximum silliness. Challenge 2 passed." The second golden feather glowed and floated up beside the first. "One more to go," Anaya said. "Let's finish this." The upside-down weather surprise. The last challenge was the strangest of all. A huge sign read, "Challenge 3. Fix the upside-down weather." "But what does that mean?" Avaya asked, scratching her head. Flufferton pointed to a small village floating on a lower cloud island. "Down there, the rain goes up, snowflakes sizzle, and the sun wears a scarf." "What?" Avaya laughed. "That sounds awesome." "It's also very confusing," Flufferton said. "We need you to make things normal again." The girls floated down on the hover blanket and landed in the silly little town called Willowville. It was absolutely chaos. Rain petals were flying into the sky, snowflakes were steaming like soup, and a big rainbow twisted itself into a knot. The villagers, a mix of wind fairies, cloud turtles, and flying frogs, were running around with upside-down umbrellas and yelling things like, "Duck! The breeze is burping again!" "What even is this place?" Anaya said. Avaya picked up a tiny frosted snowball and melted it in her hand with a sizzle. "We need to find the weather whirl," Anaya said, remembering the Cloud Kingdom's training booklet. "It controls the weather here." They spotted a wonky-looking tower made of twigs and clouds. Inside was a big machine with glowing buttons, twisty knobs, and a large dial stuck at silly storm mode. "Oh boy," Avaya said. "Who left this on?" Butterball wagged his tail and stepped forward and sat directly on the switch. Clunk! The dial spun back to normal breeze. Suddenly, the wind began to blow gently again. Snowflakes fell softly. The rainbow untangled itself and smiled. "Boo whoosh," said a nearby tree. "Thank you." Flufferton floated in, eyes wide. Unexpected solution, smart doggo teamwork, final challenge, passed! The third golden feather shimmered and zoomed into the air. All three feathers spun together. Twinkle, twinkle, swoosh, and formed a golden key. "A key?" Avaya asked. Flufferton smiled. "This unlocks the wind spirit's heart." With the final challenge complete and the golden key in hand, Avaya and Anaya were almost ready to bring the wind back to the world. But will the wind spirit listen? And what will happen when Butterball gets caught in a swirl of bubble clouds? Let's see. The door to the wind spirit. Golden key in hand, Avaya and Anaya followed Flufferton to the tallest tower in Cloud Kingdom. It looked like a giant spiraling ice cream made of cotton candy. At the top was a shimmering door made of starlight and sky threads. Swirling clouds circled like sleepy dragons. "This," Flufferton whispered dramatically, "is a door to the wind spirits." Anaya held the key gently. "Do we knock?" Butterball answered with a boof and pawed the door. As soon as Avaya slid the golden key onto the lock, click, the clouds parted and the door slowly creaked open. Inside was a huge round room that felt still, too still. Not a breeze, not a flutter. In the center sat a glowing orb floating above a soft cloud pedestal. Around it were paper pinwheels, wind chimes, kites, all completely still. And behind it, on a hammock made of breeze, laid the wind spirit. He looked like an old wizard made of air, transparent, flowy, with a wind sky beard and a sleepy swirl for eyes. His name tag, yes, he had one, read Gustavio, professional breeze genius, currently on break. Avaya cleared her throat. Mr. Wind Spirit? He snored loudly and floated above, just slightly. Anaya tried. Sir, the world needs wind. Birds are cranky, leaves are lonely, kids can't fly kites. Gustavio blinked slowly and stretched like a lazy hurricane. Oh, yes, no wind. I am on strike. Gustavio grumbles. Gustavio floated down, his beard puffing out with each grumpy breath. You want wind? Ha! Try doing all the blowing yourself for 1,000,000 years. He pointed to a scroll titled Wind Spirit Job Description. It was longer than a spaghetti noodle stretched around the moon. I've to spin pinwheels, dry laundry, blow bubbles, whistle to trees, fly birds, flap flags, and cool soup. Avaya tilted her head. Wait, you cool soup? Of course I do. What do you think makes the steam all swirly, all pretty? That's me. But, Anaya said gently, if you stop, the world just stops too. Gustavio flopped into a floating cushion. Exactly. Then maybe someone will notice how hard I work. Avaya sat beside him. So you're not mad, you're just tired? And underappreciated, he sniffled. Anaya nodded. That's fair. Everyone needs a break. Butterball climbed onto his lap and licked his face. Gustavio chuckled. Well, you two are better listeners than the Cloud Council. He handed them a glowing feather. If you want me back on the job, prove that people care about wind. Anaya raised an eyebrow. You want a wind appreciation party? Yes, Gustavio declared, leaping up. Banners, bubbles, a proper celebration. Avaya and Anaya exchanged a look. Challenge accepted. The big, windy thank you party. Back in Whiffleville, the girls got to work. They made windy hats out of spinning paper, breeze banners from floating ribbons, and a dance of ribbon drafts with swirly steps and wiggly arms. Everyone joined in. Cloud turtles bounced on trampolines, sky fairies twirled on cotton puffs, and even the trees swayed to the rhythm. Avaya grabbed a sparkly spoon and rang it like a bell. Okay, everyone, get ready for the Windy Appreciation Celebration. The sky lit up with tiny puffed cloud fireworks. Pinwheels spun, manually at first, and everyone shouted, Thank you, Gustavio! A huge balloon floated by that said, We love wind! Suddenly, the air changed. A gentle breeze whispered through the village. Then a gust, then a whirl, then whoosh! The breeze grew stronger. The wind chimes sang, kites danced, flags flapped, the trees clapped their leafy hands, and from the top of the tower, Gustavio soared on into the sky like a superhero. I'm back! He spiraled, whooshed, twirled, and puffed in all directions. Avaya's pigtails flew sideways, and as braids smart like a top. Butterball just hung on to a flagpole like a dog-shaped windsock. Gustavio floated down, beaming. That was beautiful. I feel appreciated." He pulled out a tiny treasure chest and opened it. Inside were 2 glowing swirls. "Your new guardian wind tokens," he said, "to call the breeze whenever you need it." They sparkled and zipped into the girls' pockets. Sleepy winds and big dreams. Later that night, Avaya and Anaya floated gently back into their bedroom through the night portal. The stars outside twinkled brighter than usual. They yawned and climbed into bed, still in their gardening capes. Butterball curled up at the foot of the bed, snoring with soft little woofs. Their wind tokens sat glowing gently on the nightstand. The curtains danced with a soft breeze. Anaya smiled. "Think Gustavio's still out there blowing kisses to the trees?" Avaya giggled. "And cooling soup everywhere?" The girls high-fived sleepily. "Another mission completed," Anaya whispered. "Yeah, we're getting really good at this," Avaya said, already half asleep. Their eyes closed, their capes curled around them like clouds, and the wind whispered one last lullaby. And so, brave dreamers, that's how Avaya and Anaya helped the wind remember how important he really was. They don't need superpowers. They just needed kindness, creativity, and courage to care. So snuggle in tight, let your dreams drift onto the breeze. Because even heroes need rest. Good night, guardians, and dream big.